after the Robb Elementary School shooting. It's a new beginning this morning in Uvalde. We are live just ahead of the ribbon-cutting ceremony at Legacy Elementary School.
Just the amount of evidence, I think, is the biggest complication for a case with that many people.
Testimony begins today in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers accused in the death of Melissa Perez. We're going to tell you what to expect from this trial.
And we got a Lee High School student facing charges after a gun was found in a backpack. We're going to tell you what happened and how the parents are reacting.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And a good morning to everyone out there. Happy Friday. Ernie, obviously covering the very latest in Uvalde for us, but it's going to be a busy Friday today.
Oh, yeah. Now, before we get to all of those headlines, traffic, let's get to the weather world.
Well, we've been watching it all morning. We now have a 50-degree on the map. We've been talking about how everyone wants the fall-like temperatures. You want to manifest fall, and we have been. Take a look at the temperatures currently across the greater San Antonio metro. Bernie, if you live up there, you are now sitting in the 50s, 59 degrees this morning. Still a little warmer, though, as you get closer to the I-35 corridor. 70 degrees up in New Braunfels, 71 at Port A, 70 in Poteet, 71 in areas of Gonzales. And our temperatures today, as you're waking up, will continue to be similar to what we've experienced the last few days and what we're going to experience over the next few days. For kiddos going to the bus stop, temperatures, like I've been mentioning this morning, still going to be a little bit on the cooler start, sitting in the 60s, but this afternoon we are warming up. It's going to be another warm afternoon, temperatures in the mid 90s, similar to what you're going to expect this weekend. The only difference is there's going to be a little bit of that low humidity. The clouds finally return for a little bit for some as we get into Sunday, but with the low humidity, we're also going to see some stronger winds gusting up to about 20 miles an hour, which could also lead to some areas having that chance of some fire weather. I'll talk about what you need to know about that, plus what's causing all of this more rinse and repeat weather coming up in just a bit. But RJ, how's everything looking outside right now?
All right, starting to see a lot of traffic out there. So let's get you updated with your traffic authority right now. We're going to start with our outbound drive times. Now inbound, we are good to go so far, but 38 minutes, that's going to be our biggest delay for all of our folks headed out on the far northeast side of town. If you are headed from San Antonio to parts of New Braunfels on 35. Let's give you an update. Another situation right here, 35 southbound traffic. A crash right here at Walsham Road over by Roosevelt High School, past the 410-35 interchange. Traffic is still moving along this one stretch. Let's go to Alex right now because he was stuck in some of that traffic a little bit further up the road on the northeast side. What's the latest, Alex?
Yeah, it's been pretty slow over here, RJ. Right now, I've already been in this for about 20 minutes. I-35 northbound. This right here is by Olympia Parkway, but it started for me right at Topperwine, and a lot of it has to do with the closure we have over here. If you're on 1604, the I-35 northbound exit is closed right now. A lot of drivers have to go I-35 south, make that turnaround right at Topperwine just to go outbound I-35 north. RJ.
Okay, thank you for that update, Alex. We will check back in with him the rest of this 6 o'clock hour.
Another step forward for the city of Uvalde this morning as the school district there gets ready to cut the ribbon on the new elementary school today.
Our Ernie Zuniga is live in Uvalde this morning for us. He took a tour of this brand new campus yesterday. Ernie tells us what this means for the Uvalde community and what are some of the things that you've heard out there. Good morning, Ernie.
Guys, good morning to you. It really is a bittersweet day here in Uvalde, and I was just here 15 hours ago for a private tour inside this magnificent campus. The sprinklers are on right now. We were the first ones here this morning, but since then a few more cars have shown up and they've opened the gates to let us in a little bit closer. The front entrance behind me, you'll see it's the flagpole is there and the front entrance where on October 20th, that'll be the first day that students will actually attend classes here. It's a bit of a transition, so I'll kind of guide you through all of that. This morning at 9 a.m. there will be a tour for dignitaries and invited guests who will be here on campus. Then at 10 a.m. there will be a ribbon cutting, and we are planning to stream that for you live on the platforms of KSAT 12. And then shortly after that there will be a private reception and a lunch in the cafeteria. And after that happens, movers will begin taking the teachers, all of their classroom equipment, supplies from the other campuses where they have been located, and they will slowly bring that over here. And over the course of the next week, the teachers will move into the classrooms, and then next week, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders will take turns and each come to visit, a field trip, if you will, come to visit Legacy Elementary, get acquainted with the campus, and then the following Monday on the 20th will be the very first day of classes here for this $60 million 2-story campus. It's 116,000 square feet. It can accommodate up to 800 students, but right now the enrollment is at about 612. So there's certainly room for more growth as people see this school. And again, it will accommodate the 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, and then the special needs kids that are in Uvalde and in the surrounding communities. And it is, there are so many amenities here. We'll kind of outline some of that here throughout the morning. One thing that, of course, is not lost on today are the victims of the Robb Elementary shooting from back in May of 2022. A decision was made. There is no mention of the victims by name on this campus anywhere. But the number 21 for the 2 teachers and the 19 students who lost their lives, that is everywhere. And we'll show you some of that throughout the day here as it relates to the numbers of steps, butterflies, murals, paintings, different kinds of things around the campus to signify that number 21. And again, we'll be here throughout the morning live for you to bring you that ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. and have much more on that. Again, the mascot, by the way, the Coyotes, not the Coyotes. They are the Coyotes here at Legacy Elementary. More to come. Live from Uvalde, I'm Ernie Zuniga, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you very much for that, Ernie. 6:05 right now. Testimony gets underway later today as 3 former San Antonio police officers, you see them right there, are being tried together in the death of Melissa Perez. Perez was killed inside her apartment back in June of 2023.
It's definitely a story and a case that our very own Erica Hernandez has been working with for a while now. And she tells us how it's going to look with 3 defendants and almost a dozen attorneys involved.
If earlier this week was any indication of the tension already taking place in this case,
you're supposed to tell us. It's impeaching. You didn't tell us that he was wrong. You didn't say he was wrong.
Hold on a second.
We are in for a very interesting trial that will focus a lot on the use of force by police officers. Back in June 2023, Melissa Perez was having what was called a mental health crisis when she was shot inside her apartment by former Sergeant Alfred Flores and former officers Elizar Alejandro and Nathaniel Villalobos.
There's a lot of people involved in this case. There are 3 prosecutors and up to 8 defense attorneys. Each defendant gets to present its own case, but being tried together could be a part of a joint strategy.
It might be advantageous to share the resources if they don't have conflict in their defense. There may be statements made by one or more of the defendants that would help another defendant, and you'd want to be able to have those be possibly admissible. And so that's much easier to have happen when they're tried together.
Former prosecutor, now defense attorney Meredith Chacon, has no involvement in this case, but she says beyond strategy, both sides have a difficult task with such a high-profile case.
Just the amount of evidence, I think, is the biggest complication for a case with that many people.
The trial is expected to last a couple weeks. If convicted, Flores and Alejandro, who are charged with murder, face up to life in prison, while Villalobos, who is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, faces up to 20 years in prison. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And we will be live streaming this case. You can watch it live at noon today on KSAT.com, KSAT Plus, or the KSAT YouTube page.
We got a Lee High School student facing some charges this morning after a gun was found in their backpack. The principal said that the campus staff got a tip that a student might have a gun. Well, NEISD police found the 18-year-old and searched their backpack, and they found the weapon. It's not clear if the gun was loaded. The student now facing charges of possession of a stolen firearm and unlawfully carrying a weapon. And as you can imagine, the parents are not happy about this.
As soon as they found out, they were, let's go, come on, let's get the situation, get over it before it gets out of control. So they stopped it before it got bad. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, they did their job. Okay. I'm proud of them for doing that they did, because we don't know what could have happened.
The school is reminding students to report anything suspicious that they see or hear.
And another student taken into custody, this time in Medina Valley ISD. That student is accused of threatening to shoot up Lacoste Elementary School. In a letter, the district says the Medina Valley ISD Police Department first received the reports overnight. They did not find any weapons in the accused student's home. However, the student was still taken into custody, and there was an increased police presence on campus yesterday. The principal telling parents as well to make sure that kids know that making threats of any kind can lead to serious consequences.
Other things making the headlines. Good news this morning. We got a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas now in effect, and the Israeli military says that its troops are withdrawing to the agreed upon deployment lines. However, prior to the agreement taking effect, shelling was reported in Gaza City. Agreement includes the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas within 72 hours in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Now, the U.S. will deploy 200 troops to support stability, but none will be on the ground in Gaza. Both Israelis and Palestinians celebrated this major step toward peace after a conflict that claimed over 67,000 Palestinian lives and left hostages held by Hamas. Were so many people out there also thanking President Donald Trump for being a part of these peace talks.
And some overnight news this morning. Maria Corina Machado, she is the opposition leader in Venezuela, is the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee making that announcement a little over an hour ago. The committee said that Machado won the award for her work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and her efforts to advance democracy in that country. She will formally receive the award in Norway in December.
And this weekend's going to be a beautiful weekend for San Antonio, even with that low humidity starting to take effect today, but really feeling it tomorrow. But it does come at a cost of a chance of some fire danger. We'll break down what you need to know into the weekend coming up.
And we continue to follow the very latest on the northeast side of town. We have got some major delays for our folks headed over to Live Oak, Pat Booker area. Myself, Alex Gomez, continuing our coverage this morning to make sure that you get safe on the roads.
Got a parcel of land in the Hill Country could become the second largest state park in Texas. We're going to tell you how big of an area this is and why it may not be the end of the expansion in state parks.
Plus, more than a dozen student mariachi groups set to perform at the 16 Mariachi Festival taking place tomorrow right here in San Antonio. After the break, we're going to hear from some of these amazing performers.
All right, 6:14, we got more than a dozen student mariachi groups in San Antonio area. We'll be commemorating Hispanic Heritage Month tomorrow at the 16 Mariachi Festival. 10 high school groups and 5 middle school groups will be performing at this year's Mariachi Festival happening at the Arneson River Theater.
It makes me feel proud of my heritage. It makes me feel like I've accomplished something by contributing to my culture.
Now, coming up on GMSA at 9, we're going to hear from one of the featured groups. Very excited about it.
Absolutely, yes. Love to see those young musicians right there. Okay, 54,000 acres. That's how much the land here, the state of Texas, wants to buy in the Hill Country for what could be the second largest state park. And to give you an idea, here's a map that we made. This basically shows you how much land that is compared to Kickapoo Caverns, which is 15 miles away.
So our Christian Riley spoke with the man leading this campaign and explains how this is a part of a larger plan to expand the park system.
South Texas is growing rapidly, so it's no surprise that people are lacing up their shoes and getting out to local parks.
However, many are overcrowded.
According to our research, Texas ranks just 37th in the country for state park acreage per capita.
A 2001 study found Texas would need to add 1.4 million acres of parks by 2030 to keep up with demand.
Unfortunately, I hadn't been able to do that prior to getting this $1 billion.
Voters approved setting up a $1 billion trust fund for the Parks Department back in 2023. Using those funds, Parks and Wildlife has its sights set on what could be the second largest park in Texas, Silver Lake Ranch.
It's seriously one of the prettiest parts of the state I've ever been to.
Located in Kinney and Edwards County, the park would protect 54,000 acres of the Hill Country as it continues to grow and ensure a habitat for endangered species in the region like the golden-cheeked warbler. But Silver Lake Ranch is just the beginning.
They're just getting started. They have $50 million a year coming in.
The department is also looking to buy a 200-acre expansion to Lockhart State Park, and it's asking people for leads on future purchases.
I know they're eager to hear from the public on ideas for other potential parklands.
Christian Riley, KSAT 12 News.
All right, the State Parks Department wants to hear from you, though. That QR code right now you can scan if you know any land for sale that would make for a good state park. The story also on our website at KSAT.com.
Very interesting story there. Absolutely love when we kind of focus on some of our nature around our great states. All right, let's give you an update on the situation right here. 35 South right here at Walsham Road. Traffic has actually cleared out. That accident just picked up, so we are good to go for all of our drivers headed out by Roosevelt High School. So let's give you a quick check of our inbound drive times, because I mentioned this earlier, but traffic is looking pretty good on this Friday morning. 27 minutes coming in from New Braunfels, 24 minutes for all of our folks out there in the far northwest side, and 20 minutes are coming down to 81 from Bulverde. So be safe on the roads. Want to make sure that we keep things this way. Let's check in with Alex right now, who's going to give us an update on the situation on the northeast side of town. I believe is Alex making his way around town right now. Alex?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. So I'm leaving the northeast side. Just know that it took me about 20 minutes to get through I-35 North near 1604, but it should be faster now. As I was leaving, they were picking up all those barrels and all of those lanes have reopened. Just know that one more problem over there is that if you're on 1604, the exit to I-35 North right now is still closed because of construction. They're still working on that exit ramp. So drivers being forced to go I-35 South, then they got to make the turnaround to go back up I-35 North, RJ.
Okay, good information once again from Alex and Shelby. You know what? I-35 is going to be very busy because we have the Red River rivalry game on KSAT 12.
Yes.
A lot of folks are going to be driving up there, expecting some great weather across our area.
Well, I mean, we're waking up in the 60s, so some folks might want to have the seat heaters on in the car. I know 60s are very fall-like weather for some folk. Otherwise, we'll be feeling right back like summer later this afternoon. Still feeling a little muggy, though, so you might want to have the AC on this morning for your car. And throughout the day, just by lunchtime, we're already sitting in the mid-80s. And here's the thing. Although we're still going to see that low humidity, we're still going to see those clear skies. And like I mentioned, it's still going to be feeling very much like summer. 93 degrees expected for our peak temperature this afternoon, because that heat high is still just sitting and camping in areas of Texas while it's soaking up all that tropical moisture from Priscilla and Raymond just through Baja California, through Nevada, even through Arizona and New Mexico. But because that high pressure is sitting over us, there is a chance that this weekend some folks could have that chance for some fire danger. Now, it is not as big as what we saw in March with that crabapple fire, but even then, we've had little to no rain. We've had all dried out fairly quickly, and we've had warm, dry weather, and it hasn't really allowed our drought to get any better, especially because this weekend on Sunday, we're tracking the winds to be about 20 miles an hour, and it is still going to be breezy, so any chance of some sort of spark could continue to travel. Here's the fire danger forecast for today. In San Antonio, just that moderate category. It does get heightened as you go further east. We're talking north of Houston near Beaumont. Tomorrow is going to be fairly better, but Sunday it's still once again going to have that chance for some fire danger. Just something to keep in mind of, especially with temperatures still being in the 60s, afternoon temperatures staying in the 90s with clear skies for us in San Antonio, and little to no rain chances in the futurecast, sadly.
All right, thank you very much for that, Shelby. 6:20 right now on your Friday morning. We're looking at 69 degrees outside.
So it's now day 11 of the government shutdown. We got the impacts and what it's having on our military families and air travel.
And looking ahead on Good Morning America, first look, the legal battle in Kendrick Lamar's famous diss track might be coming to an end. What a federal judge is saying about this case that involves Drake.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the legal battle over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, a diss track directed at fellow rap superstar Drake, could be near its end.
They not like us. They not like us.
A federal judge tossing out Drake's defamation suit against his label, Universal Music Group, determining the song's lyrics in question are non-actionable opinion. Lamar, who is also represented by UMG, is not a defendant. However, these scathing lyrics from him were at issue.
Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1.
Not Like Us was released amid a weeks-long exchange of diss tracks between the two rappers in spring of 2024, hitting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sweeping the Grammys with 5 wins. Lamar going on to perform the song at this year's Super Bowl halftime show. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you what's next in this ongoing feud. With your GMA First Look, I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
Yesterday's pollen count, ragweed was moderate levels at 160 with molds following just behind it at 150. We don't have today's count, but you can get the latest update on the pollen count later today and through the KSAT weather app once they come in normally around the 8 to 9 o'clock hour, RJ.
Yes, let's give you a quick check of one of your hot spots, and we are clearing things out on the northeast side of town, Walsham Road 35 South, so we are good to go there, but want to focus a little bit on the northwest side where we had an accident that did clear out, but we are seeing some pretty good volume starting to build up over here by 10 Days of Allah, over by Clark High School, so we will get you updated as we get closer to 6:30. Jeff.
All right, we're looking at 625 right now, 69 degrees outside, and we got some changes coming to a free parking program for disabled veterans at the airport. We're going to explain what you need to know before they take place on November the 1st.
And we told you yesterday about Governor Greg Abbott's direction to enforce the removal of all political ideologies from Texas streets. This morning, we're going to hear from the city about their plans for the Rainbow Crosswalk right here in San Antonio.
And we're live this morning in Uvalde at the brand new Legacy Elementary School. Find out when the students will actually be able to call this home and how the Robb Elementary shooting victims are being honored here.
The mayor of San Antonio joining the conversation as the Rainbow Crosswalk talks continue this morning. And this is after Texas Governor Greg Abbott called for the removal of political ideologies from Texas streets. But what does this mean exactly? We're making those calls for you to get the answers as we're all waiting to hear directly from him.
My faith is my everything. It's a lifestyle. I pray every morning for San Antonio.
And San Antonio police officers will be taking a moment to pray for their brothers in blue and our city this morning. We're going to tell you what's in store for National Faith and Blue Weekend.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Here we are coming up on our 6:30 hour, 69 degrees outside. And as you can see, we got coverage of all kind of topics today.
That's right. It's a very important day in Uvalde. Ernie Zuniga is going to be giving us a live report about that. But we're also checking in on the weather as we get set for the weekend. Shelby, how are things looking out there for all of our folks making their way out this morning?
Well, guys, things are going to be feeling a little fall-like this morning. In fact, we're already seeing some temperatures in the 50s and 60s. And we're going to continue to see the cooler temperatures as we head throughout the next few hours, really in San Antonio. Right now, our temperature is sitting at about 69 degrees, feeling still like our average, or feeling like our temperature, but just as we head throughout the next few hours, we're already starting to warm up into the 70s, even sitting a little on the drier side. But this afternoon, expect your temperatures to get into the 90s. 88 degrees still for some folks in the hill country as they don't have as much of these surfaces to really reflect that heat off of. 88 degrees expected in Fredericksburg, but the heat's going to continue, but some things are going to change. I'll tell you what you need to know as we head into the weekend coming up in just a bit.
Okay, let's give you a look at your traffic authority right now at 6:31. Want to start with our inbound drive times. 28 minutes coming in from New Braunfels this morning. 21 minutes coming in on 90 Castroville as traffic starts to build for all of our folks making their way in the eastbound lanes, but mostly green on our screen right here. Outbound drive times. 25 minutes headed out to Bernie for our folks out there. 27 minutes headed out to Floresville this morning. The one trouble spot we saw earlier has cleared out. That's going to be 35 south at Walsham Road, so we are good to go there. Let's check in with Alex Gomez right now. He is in the downtown area for a look at things on the ground in DriveCam. Alex?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. In downtown, traffic is extra smooth right now because that construction on I-35 South in Martin Street is completely gone. There's no lanes closed in the downtown area. So I'm going to be on I-35 southbound right now near the Alamo. I'm actually northbound, but things are looking great and there's no construction anymore on the downtown highways, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that very important update, Alex, in DriveCam.
A special day for the city of Uvalde and the families of the victims of the shooting at Robb Elementary.
The Uvalde CISD is cutting the ribbon on its brand new elementary school today that will honor the victims of that tragedy. And our very own Ernie Zuniga had the opportunity to tour that brand new campus yesterday. Joining us live this morning from Uvalde. Ernie, we know that it will be a very emotional day for the families and the community.
Yeah, guys, good morning. Indeed, it's been an emotional last couple of years, to say the least, when ground was broken here at Legacy Elementary School, which starting on October 20th will be the home of the Coyotes, as I mentioned. You talked about that tour. I was here yesterday afternoon, and shortly after that, the 21 families of the victims of the Robb Elementary School shooting were invited here. I'm told that they were expecting at least a representative from all 21 families to be here for a private tour of this campus, and then they got together to have a dinner in the cafeteria last night before the public, I should say dignitaries and invited guests will be here later on this morning in the 9 o'clock hour for another tour. It's about a half-hour tour of the campus. It's a two-story campus, 116,000 square feet. Took 2 years to build, $60 million. And I should mention so many of the donations came in. I believe HEB came in with $10 million in donations. $4 million just in construction costs were donated by various contractors, architects, planners, designers. You name it, went in to build this facility. And as we were here yesterday afternoon, again, the students don't arrive here until October 20th. The teachers will start to move in next week. There were still many crews as we speak right now with ladders, and they're cleaning windows. And Shelby will appreciate this. One of the difficult things, the last minute touches, is laying sod on this campus. Because of the drought conditions here in Uvalde in this part of the state, grass or sod has been very hard to come by. So you'll notice some bare patches of dirt still on the campus here, but otherwise it is an absolutely stunning campus. I mentioned in the last half hour the Robb Elementary families were here last night, and a decision was made collectively over the months to honor the victims of the Robb shooting in a number of different ways, which we'll show you throughout the morning here. But again, there is no specific mention by name of the victims on this campus, and we'll talk more about that throughout the morning. We are going to stream that ribbon cutting for you live in the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll have much more on GMSA Plus, GMSA at 9, and of course the news at noon throughout the day here on KSAT 12. For now, though, that is the scene from Uvalde at Legacy Elementary School. I'm Ernie Zuniga, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Ernie. And this morning, the city of San Antonio says that it has no current plans to remove the rainbow crosswalk in the Pride Cultural Heritage District. And you know what it looks like. This comes after Governor Greg Abbott directed TxDOT to enforce the removal of the, quote, all political ideologies from Texas streets, citing concerns this might distract drivers. Now, since the governor's directive came down, we've learned Harris County leaders actually in Houston say that they plan to pave over a very similar intersection. Well, the LGBTQ plus rights activists held a community forum last night in San Antonio, and then they say that protecting these crosswalks was one of their priorities.
It shows the struggle and how much we have put in to make this our own. It's a safe space for all of us.
Now, again, we've been trying, but we have not yet had a chance to talk directly to the governor since these directives came out. We're still putting in calls and emails, but they did send a letter from the federal government indicating that this initiative is to keep the intersections and crosswalks distraction free. Also, stories that we're following this morning, anxiety growing among American military families as the government shutdown enters day 11, where sources tell ABC News that some Republicans pressuring Speaker Mike Johnson to bring Congress back to session. Johnson faced that criticism, though, very tough criticism, when a military spouse blamed him for putting her children at risk, says military members may soon go without pay for the first time in modern history. Well, Johnson blamed the Democrats for the shutdown. The shutdown also causing major airport delays, with over 21,000 flights delayed this week, most caused by workers calling in sick. Transportation officials warn those workers could be fired.
And some overnight developments this morning. Maria Corina Machado, she is the opposition leader in Venezuela, is the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee making that announcement just over about an hour or so ago. The committee said that Machado won the award for her work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and her efforts to advance democracy in that country. She will formally receive that award in Norway in December.
Thank you. That right there is the message from the San Antonio police officer to those in our community who pray for their safety daily. Later today, church leaders and SAPD officers will unite in prayer over the city.
Our Patty Santos got a chance to ride along with an officer who says that his strong faith is a big part of their job.
God as my chief, I work for him first and foremost. So
no disrespect to McManus.
No disrespect.
San Antonio police officer Doug Green says his badge isn't the only guiding force. His faith is too, and he's not alone. For many officers, a higher being plays a big role in their calling to serve.
And I think it's very honorable that get the opportunity to serve people in some of their darkest moments and to be able to give them hope and to be able to guide them through very dark situations.
He's been with the department for 15 years and a part of Faith in Blue for about 5 of them. Faith in Blue is a national event that brings faith leaders and officers for a morning of prayer and unity once a year.
When someone calls for help, we don't ask what religion you are. We don't ask what ethnicity you are. No matter who you are, we're going to go and we're going to help you.
But the job comes with pressure and pain. Green says officers are constantly under stress, and he asks for grace and prayers for the 2,900 men and women behind the badge in San Antonio, because he says expectations are high.
Sometimes, Patty, I think it's a little too much. We do the best that we can. We're human. We're all going to fail you at times. But we are most effective when the community works with us.
And listen to this. Green says cadets have been encouraged to connect with church leaders in Christian, Jewish, Hindu, and other different groups so that they can connect with those cultures and be better prepared to interact with them once they hit the streets.
Taking a look outside with live cam, we are still going to be sitting dry, sadly. No rain chances are expected over the next 7 days, but what we are going to see is some tropical moisture making its way to San Antonio. I'll break down what you need to know coming up.
On the northeast side of town, to check if those conditions there. Traffic is looking pretty good for our drivers. This is a sight for sore eyes. We've got smooth sailing right now for all of our folks making their way on 35 and 1604. We're going to get you updated on the northwest side of town coming up in just a bit.
If we'll be vulnerable for a bit,
okay.
This is pickup lines.
We got a familiar face getting personal on today's Pickup Lines. Sarah Spivey opens up about her hearing loss and a personal struggle that she copes with today. 6:43 right now. Creator of Yellowstone sending his life's work back to Texas where it all began. And we're talking about Taylor Sheridan, the mind behind Yellowstone in 1883, sending his creative archive to Texas State University. And he briefly attended the university as a theater major in 1990s and then recently received an honorary doctorate. The Whitliff collections will house early drafts of his work, including from the Oscar-nominated Hell or High Water.
But these are materials that could be scripts, letters, correspondence, photographs, posters, script, just pieces of film, audio. So all those things have to be handled by archivists and processed.
All right, the archive will grow in stages, giving future researchers and writers a look into how Sheridan crafts his stories.
6:44 this morning, the San Antonio International Airport says that cutbacks are forcing officials there to make changes to a free parking program for disabled veterans. Now, currently, disabled vets and veterans with military awards get 30 days of free parking at any garage or lot. But starting November 1st, so right around the corner, only prisoners of war and Purple Heart recipients will remain eligible for this parking perk. The city says that the expenses of the program, as well as a recent FAA audit, forced their hand to cut this program. It costs upwards of $11 million in parking validations in a year.
We wanted to ensure that we still had a program that would continue to add value and be mindful of who San Antonio is and why it's important for us to be considerate to all of our military personnel, whether active or veterans.
While disabled veterans will still be able to park free in airports, the surface lots there, which does not need a shuttle to get to the airport terminals. Vets can also get a 50% discount in the long-term garage and 25% discount off at the short-term facility. Again, this program starts in a couple of weeks here, November the 1st. Okay, let's get you updated with your traffic authority right now. And we mentioned earlier, want to focus a little bit on the northwest side of town where we do have an incident. This is going to be 10 East at Days of Allah Road. Now, fortunately, not causing too many delays, but again, this is going to be for all of our drivers coming into town on this Friday morning. So keep that one in mind. Want to give you a look here at our citywide map. 90 at Couples Road had an incident there over by General McMullen. And another reminder, it looks as if the traffic situation, the construction on 35 downtown has been cleared up. So again, we're going to check back in with Alex in a little bit to see the latest out there for our folks in downtown.
This week on Pickup Lines with our Ernie Zunica, we got a candid conversation with one of our own right here at KSAT.
Yes, you see her right here. Meteorologist Sarah Spivey is a Clark High School, she's a Cougar grad, and has been at KSAT since 2017. Now, soon after that, she got here at KSAT. Sarah began using a hearing aid to help with a childhood condition that caused her to lose much of her hearing. She also opened up to Ernie about a personal struggle that she deals with to this day.
I feel like people don't know this about me, but I do get anxiety and stage fright. I do. I get stage fright. And it can make being in this business difficult at times. But I've been learning to be able to talk about it because it's more common, I think, than people realize.
I think you're right.
Now, despite all of that, Sarah is a talented musician, a singer, and relatively new mother.
Yeah, that was video there of her husband as well. The latest episode of Pickup Lines premieres at 5:30 and replays at 7:30 this evening on the free KSAT Plus app, or you can watch it right now, ksat.com. All you got to do is search Pickup Lines or scan the QR code that you see on your screen right now.
Anytime there's any sort of weather, we always get some sort of picture between Sarah and little baby Everett, especially when he's enjoying the weather. And I know a lot of people are enjoying the weather this morning. 69 degrees in San Antonio right now, but we're seeing some 50s as you get closer to the hill country. 59 reported as you get up to Gillespie County near Fredericksburg. And this is going to be a little bit closer to fall temperatures that everyone wants, but we're still feeling a little muggier. And this is normal to feel that humidity and the dew point temperatures a little higher in the mornings. Is you still that is completely normal, but dew point temperatures in the 50s in the hill country, down to the south near the valley and even near the coastal plains, still seeing the dew point temperatures in the 70s. But the good news, the humidity is going to decrease as we head throughout the day today, and then we're going to get a little drier as we go into the weekend. And even as Sunday starts, that's what we're still going to be feeling, a little dry, a little pleasant, and then the humidity returns as we head into Monday. And there's a few things of why we're going to see that, and I'll get to that in just a second. But today in San Antonio, getting to 93 degrees. Like I mentioned, that humidity is going to drop as we head into the afternoon and the evening hours. Still seeing those mostly clear skies, but this is why you see this water vapor satellite imagery. We're seeing some dry air near New Orleans, even going through Memphis, St. Louis, and even near Atlanta. But what we're seeing over Texas is a little bit of some quieter weather, and that's because we have that area of high pressure that could bring some moisture from the tropical systems near the Pacific, near Baja California and Mexico, just to the north. And that is really going to have an impact for portions near the desert Southwest. But otherwise, as it loops just to the north of that high pressure, there is a low pressure system just off the coast of California that all of this moisture is going to really get squeezed in between. And that is going to loop back around. But really, for the rainfall totals, most of the rain is going to fall just to the west of us. El Paso could get some rain, but for San Antonio, we're most likely missing out because that area of high pressure is just going to sit and camp over us, maybe getting a trace of rain, but that's mostly going to be near the coastal plains, if anything. So sad news, if you want more rain, we're not expecting any of it. But the good news is if you want some cooler temperatures in the mornings, we're expecting them. 65 tomorrow morning, 64 on Sunday morning, low humidity for a beautiful and a great weekend ahead for the Alamo City. We'll be right back after the break. For your 7-day forecast, let's just focus on the first 3 days of the forecast. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, temperatures between 92 to 93 degrees. Seeing that low humidity start to arrive today and Saturday. Going to be beautiful, waking up in the 60s. And then let's take a look at the rest of your 7-day forecast. much of the same, really. The only difference is we start to see a little bit more of that cloud coverage return to the forecast starting on Sunday and Monday, similar with that humidity. But really, you can take that rinse and repeat forecast for the next 7 days. There's a chance that a few of us might be waking up in the upper 50s as we get into Sunday morning and for portions of the hill country as we go throughout the next week or so. But otherwise, the main story and the key point in the forecast is low humidity and a beautiful weekend ahead, especially for some college and high school football. But if you're going on the roads, you might need to know a few things, RJ.
Absolutely, Shelby. Let's give you a look here at your traffic before the 7 o'clock hour, and inbound drive times look great. 28 minutes if you're coming in from New Braunfels, 25 minutes coming in from Bernie for all of our folks on the northwest side on this Friday morning. Let's focus still on the northwest side. We have cleared out that incident, 10 at Days of Olive Road, so we are good to go there for anyone making their way through the medical center area. And also northeast side of town, traffic looking okay. Starting to see a little bit of buildup right here at 1604 and 35. Coming up on GMSA Plus, Alex Gama is going to give us a live look at the downtown area where it looks like we have got a pretty big construction change, so stick with us for that. Okay, let's go to Uvalde now, where Ernie is live for us this morning for a very, very special day for the Uvalde community. Ernie?
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We're here. I popped my apologies here. No, we are here live in Uvalde.
All right, now we got Ernie Zuniga will be covering that for us on GMSA Plus. For right now on GMSA Plus. Also, we got more headlines where a beloved Spurs icon soon be laid to rest. A look back at the legacy of Sister Jean. You stick around again because we're coming back out here with more of your headlines, weather, traffic, and again, Ernie doing coverage live from Uvalde.
Okay, we are back here, Uvalde, at Legacy Elementary here. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay. We are going to be moving in a short time from now up to the front entrance here, and we'll be able to talk about some of the security features that are here on this campus, this $60 million sprawling campus. There are some security features that officials do not want us to share with the audience for obvious reasons and precautions here. But we're going to tell you as much as we can here as we get ready for that ribbon cutting ceremony at 10 a.m. this morning. There are invited guests and dignitaries, some elected officials, the school board members, the superintendent will all be here in the 9 o'clock hour for a guided tour of this campus. And then again, we'll be streaming that ribbon cutting for you at 10 a.m. So much more to come from Legacy Elementary in Uvalde. I'm Ernie Zuniga, live for KSAT 12 News.
Yes, we got